1 week from today, we will have a new president.
Political analyst Wendy, Patrick, Laura Fink, they join us with more. Ladies, good morning to both of you. Okay, since we last spoke last week, we are talking about Hillary's emails again, just days before the election. Laura?
Well, we're talking about Hillary's emails again, and this is, we see this in elections all the time. They're not over till they're over. Now, what the polls are showing is that this hasn't affected people that were already decided. What it generally affects is enthusiasm. So Hillary doesn't really have to worry about this impacting people switching their votes or changing their mind. What she does need to counter is the fact that she needs to make sure that that enthusiasm continues through Election Day. So that's why you see her turning up the volume, deploying surrogates, really pushing hard. And so this isn't a victory lap for her. She's going to have to fight till the end.
But Wendy, you say she doesn't need to worry about it, but over the past few days, Wendy, the polls, the numbers that are coming out are changing.
That's absolutely right. When you talk about enthusiasm, remember it was Bernie Sanders in the primary that really had the enthusiasm, not Mrs. Clinton, not so much. But remember, Donald Trump still has that enthusiasm, and especially now that the polls are narrowing, but he's got the momentum, not the math. And that is when it comes to really what's going to matter on Election Day. He's doing well. He's really riding this out. Boy, talk about an October surprise. Who knew it would be such a shot in the arm for Donald Trump and his supporters? But in terms of really what Hillary has to do right now, and I just think it's a crack up that people are changing their votes in those states. I mean, they might as well flip a coin if you're going to change your mind 3 times in a row. But what she's really going to have to do is continue to build up the enthusiasm that she has. And it's ironic because on the heels of the revelation by James Comey last Friday, she has still managed to energize her base by pointing out some of the facts, including they don't really know what's in those emails yet. So why should her supporters change their minds just yet?
I don't think that a week out from an election day, it's happened in previous presidential elections, last minute things come out, people question the timing of it. I want you both, if you could, to look into your crystal ball. Let's say Hillary Clinton wins the presidency. Does this scandal, does this email scandal have the potential to get into the presidency, to have problems, impeachment proceedings, anything like that? Is it that serious?
Well, right now we don't have any evidence that there's any new information that would suggest that. But what I think you're talking about is the political fighting that is incumbent upon various groups to do so. So are the Republicans going to continue to make an issue to try to delegitimize Hillary's presidency? I think that they will. And certainly Donald Trump has emboldened the fringe groups that would do that. We saw President Obama face that. That was where the question of his birth certificate came from. So I think that you will continue to see these fights continue to happen, which I think is unfortunate. I think they're laying the groundwork for that now. And I did want to say one thing about the polls. Now, right now, unlike in previous election years and in elections past, we see early voting results that can give us an indicator of what's happening. So these October surprises matter much less because people have already banked their vote. So we're seeing all of those numbers really favor Clinton in terms of the number of ballots returns and the people that they're coming from. Latinos are outperforming their numbers. Women are outperforming their numbers. All groups that favor Hillary Clinton. So I don't see this as Wendy said. I don't see this. This is a substantial math problem for Donald Trump. I think what Hillary's challenge if she is elected will be how does she go ahead and make sure that she keeps these minor issues at bay so that she can focus on the issues and getting things done for the country.
Well, there's a lot of people in this country who would argue these are not minor issues, they're major issues. Wendy, what's your take? If she wins the presidency, does this scandal have legs?
Absolutely, and people do think that that's a major issue. And here's the thing, Raul and Shelley. Let's say that there's nothing of significance in these emails, but that there's still the fact that they weren't turned over, they were found late. Remember, Director Comey promised in July that he would bring this to somebody's attention if he found some other evidence. So he was kind of in a box. It would have been worse had he waited till after the election, so goes the argument, and then said, yes, I had this last week, but I sat on it.
Yeah, but many people are questioning the timing of this as well.
But remember, he told Congress that he would notify them if and when subsequent information came to light that was relevant to the investigation.
Okay, but
now here's the argument. They're saying, oh, but it's not relevant. You don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But the political timing of that, there's 2 very strong arguments on either side of that. Let's put those aside and focus more on your question, Raul, which I think is a great one. Is this scandal going to follow her into the White House? I would agree with Laura that it is, and I don't think that the Republicans are going to let this go anytime soon, given the amount of time we've been talking about it thus far.
I want to get quickly. I saw a poll, 26% of people still undecided. Is that normal at this stage of a presidential election?
I would say yes, we're in for a November surprise if and when they make up their mind.
I would say I question that poll's accuracy. It's probably around 4% right now moving into Election Day. And what matters more, as we've been talking about, is if the people actually show up for their various campaigns, not the undecided voters at this point.
Good stuff. 6 days, 45 minutes, 43 seconds, but who's counting till Election Day? Laura, Wendy, thank you both.
All right, thanks, Raul.